Hey guys, it's your girl Maria. You're at Approach the Nerd, and we are doing our weekly Kung Fu, episodic review. And this is episode 6 entitled Rage. Let me know if you guys are having any problems with any of the setup because I'm using, again, a brand new webcam, so I don't have to use my DSLR all the time. And I'm still playing with it and tweaking it. So is what it is. Also, let me know if the audio is okay for you guys. If you hear me, let me know in the comments because just want to make sure you guys can hear what I'm saying. All right. So this week's episode, Rage. So like Black Lightning, this is a series that is getting better and better as it goes. And this week put a lot of questions in our head, like a lot of questions on what actually happened between Lady Z, because that's what I call Zillan. I call her Lady Z, and her sister Pei-Ling, because we're under the impression that from the pilot episode that Lady Z killed her sister because she wanted to get the sword. Well, now Lady Z is making accusations saying that Pei-Ling actually stole the family sword and went and hid at the monastery with the sword. So now I don't know what to believe, and she's even accusing Pei-Ling of murdering their father. So now I'm kind of like, what's happening? Like, what is happening? I don't know. I'm at a loss right now because, quite frankly, I can't say Lady Z is 100% lying. Like, every villain has a trauma or a backstory. So Lady Z may be right. Pei-Ling may have been, not so good before she became Nikki's, Sifu, and there is a scene in the pilot episode where she says, and quote, she says, I was not a good person. You probably would not have liked or respected the person that I was before coming here. So that's not really an admission of guilt, but it's not really an admission of not guilt. So I don't know, guys. I'm starting to wonder now, not going to take any shade off of Lady Z because she still killed the professor in, the previous episode. I think it was the episode before last. She did kill him. She poisoned him. So she's not good, but I'm starting to think that maybe she's not 100% bad either. So all right. So there's a lot going on. First of all, how cute was Nikki's father basically telling their mother, Malin, that he wants to take her on a date. She's like, a date? He's like, on Saturday night. I'm like, oh. Now, the one thing that's always interesting to me about this series is that, like, there's kind of like turbulence in their marriage between these two, but we don't really know why. Like, we don't have a lot of exposition on why they have these issues. Like, that whole episode with the refrigerator, like, it just never seemed to get resolved. Like, we just moved on from that and we never went back. So I don't know what that is. But still, I think the parents are cute. But I have to say this because this is not integral to actually, it was not important to the plot whatsoever, just important to me. Since we have our Ryan and Joe now as a canon couple, I kept thinking Nikki can bring Henry around, but I don't think Ryan can bring Joe around. Even though Joe came to the restaurant and was, being sheltered during the protests, and they, the mother and the father both stood up and offered to be arrested for him. They did not do that in the whole capacity of, oh, this is our son's significant other. They did it in the capacity of, oh, this is the right thing to do for Black Lives Matter. So, yeah, I'm having issues with this, guys. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that whole scenario. So as much as I like the parents, I'm kind of worried about the fallout with the homophobia angle, which is unfortunately prevalent in a lot of Asian and Asian American families, because I'm in one, I'm experiencing it. So it is a thing. So I am worried about that. I just had to throw that in there because I was thinking when they were all in the museum and I'm like, they wanted to take a family picture and we had Henry there, of course we had Althea and her fiance, and Ryan. And I'm like, we could not have Joe. I'm like, Joe couldn't even go to this party or go to this museum. So it's just something to think about. All right. So in this entire episode, Nikki has shown that she is angry as hell, and she's making decisions based off of not wanting to get justice, but from rage, anger. She hates Lady Z. And the entire episode, everyone keeps pointing it out that she's not making informed decisions. But it starts off with the fact that Henry's friend, who was helping them get all the artifacts and like basically, he gets them and he sends them back to where they originally came from. Well, he also only does that for things he considers has historical value. Anything that's this magical mojo, whatever he called it, he just sells to the highest bidder, or he's, as he likes to say, the richest idiot. And so the dagger is no different. And when he asked why you wanted the dagger, and she was like, I need to keep it out of somebody else's hand. He's like, that's really all you're going to tell me? He's like, well, I don't care. I'm going to get the dagger. I have somebody on the inside. So they were already effed over basically by Ryan's black market art dealing guy. Which is why it kind of sent Nikki into a tailspin. And another side note, I want to say this before I forget it. So if you watch this episode, did you notice that the background music they use a lot in this episode seemed like a modified version of the opening of The Flash? Like if you really just listen to some of the bars of the music, did it not remind you of the opening theme for The Flash? That's really weird. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, so Nikki wants to come up with a plan to go and break into the museum because the guy that was in, I think it was Bolivia, he put it in a box and shipped it to the museum. And so she wanted to break in, and she got her sister basically, because Althea has the hookup to her fiance, to get tickets to go last minute because his family gives to all of these charities. And so they were able to come, get in. And I just loved how accepting Nikki was of stealing. It's just like, let's just do a heist. We're just going to go in there and steal it. We're going to break into the museum and we're going to steal it. And I'm like, no matter how you look at it, that's still thievery. You're stealing. You're breaking into an establishment and taking something that you did not buy or purchase and technically does not belong to you. So she's so okay with that. So that's how I know that she's not thinking rationally. I mean, this is a former law student. This is somebody who is big in social justice. I don't want to say social justice warrior because they're going to come for me. But, that's not what she has been putting out since the pilot episode. But now she's just so comfortable with like doing a heist. And it's like, to what end will you go to get all of these weapons and keep them away from Lady Z? And so she is literally in her feelings and she's doing everything irrationally. And it led to something extremely cool in this episode. Lady Z is at the museum too. And Nikki and Henry are able to get the dagger back. They beat up these guys who had guns. And the only reason they didn't shoot them because they would alert security. And so that basically she beats, the guys up with Henry. And by the way, Henry actually got a lot more licks in than she did. I don't know how I feel about that because, Kung Fu is supposed to be about her. And he actually had the better fight scenes in that scene. So they might want to kind of curtail him, since he's not actually the star of Kung Fu. And so they get the dagger, then they go back to the party, but then Lady Z is there talking to her dad. I mean, you've got to have balls, and I love how she's like, I thought you were dead. That whole confrontation was just cool. The fight scene between Nikki and Lady Z outside, which to me, I like the fight scene. It was interesting that Lady Z was wearing white and Nikki was wearing black because normally in Western movies or like in Western culture, the good guys always wear white and, the bad guys always wear black. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that gives any more it makes anything more valid towards what Lady Z is saying about her sister being the actual bad guy, but she was wearing white. And I'm going to say, Nikki held her own a little bit. She learned a little bit more. Like she held out a little longer than I thought she would, but she still got her ass kicked. I mean, Lady Z could have killed her. And she saw the pattern on her hand. And when she saw the pattern on her hand, like when she held her hand up, she decided not to kill her. So I don't know what that was about either, but she knew what that meant. And so I'm even more intrigued on what this thing on Nikki's hand means. But she beat the living crap out of Nikki. She knocked Nikki out. But I guess my problem is this, and this is what I was trying to say before I got to this point. So Lady Z was talking to the father. Nikki had the dagger in, her pocket, her dress pocket. And So Lady Z basically threatened the parents because the father was like, "Oh yeah, if you want to come to Harmony Dumplings, best dumplings, in San Francisco, blah blah blah." And so she's like, "What was the name of the dumpling place again?" And she whispered that in Nikki's ear. So of course Nikki lets her take the dagger. Well, my problem with that is if you were scared she was going after your family and your parents, whatever, and you let her take the dagger, then why the hell did you go after her to get the dagger back like 5 minutes later? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. You should have been like, "Nah, I'm gonna give it to you." No. So I don't understand the logic of that. So I was like, "Oh, they did that thing I don't like. They did a CW moment." I'm like, that didn't make any sense to me. But whatever. But I just felt that was kind of weird. That was a choice that she really shouldn't have had to make. She should have just said no. There's no point in letting her take the dagger and then going after her to take the dagger. Now, more side information. 2 other things are happening. Well, technically 3 other things are happening in this series. Or episode of the series. Althea is basically approached by her old boss who raped her, his lawyer, and he wants her to sign an NDA, and they're offering $300,000. And that's how he got the other woman to shut up. And then he basically went to Althea. And I was like, surely she's not going to take it. She's going to stand up to that. But she talked to her fiance, and the fiance talks about all the charities. He's talking about all the money, the cars, and blah blah blah. And he even said, even if we were in burlap and we were in the eating out of trash can, I'd be with you. But the lawyer put in her head that the family could lose, her fiance's family could lose everything because they also sponsored her, her boss. Money for investments came from him. I guess he's a startup as well. And it was really hard for me with this whole storyline because I kind of knew what they were going to do, and then they did it, and it kind of irritated me a little bit. So basically, the lawyer's like, "Well, what will your fiance say? And what will his parents say? I mean, they'd be ruined. If my client is ruined, then they would be ruined," and blah, blah, blah. And, he puts her card and leaves her card on the table on top of the car because she doesn't take it because he wants her to sign the damn NDA so the guy can get away with raping all these people, because that's literally what's happening. Now, I need you to follow my logic on this, okay? So Ryan, who works at the clinic in the Chinese Community Center, his hours are cut, and they may not even make it another month because they're losing funding because of the new mayor's policies and, pretty much mimicking real life. And so he's trying to figure out ways to try and save the clinic. And of course, he goes to Althea, and she's like, "Well, the best thing to do is to try and smooth people that have money because nobody's just going to write you a check." Well, I first thought Nikki should not have, when Ryan went to the party, Nikki should not have let Ryan help, because Ryan really could have made some connections through Althea's, fiance to all of these people that his family has helped. Because hell, some woman just randomly came up to them and thanked, Althea's fiance and his parents for donating money for a hospital ward to save her child who was battling cancer or just went in remission for cancer. So, they have money to burn, basically. So Ryan could have really helped the clinic had he been able to do that instead of chasing or helping his sister with this dagger. So her mission is kind of interfering with stuff. So I'm putting that out there. But Althea decides to sign the NDA if they give her literally $250,000. I think it's $500,000. It's $500,000. So $500,000 donated to the clinic at the Chinese Community Center. So she's getting the money to give to Ryan. Now, optically, how does that look for people that have been attacked and are victims? You're signing an NDA to get money, and then nothing is stopping this guy from going and raping other women in the company and going and doing it to other women, traumatizing other women. And I don't like that. I do not like that part of the story. I'm hoping it does not play out. I'm hoping that her inner turmoil over this, or her trauma over this, wins out. And even though, yes, Ryan needs this money, you don't have to sell yourself, because that's literally what that is. You are selling yourself. You're letting this man get away with raping you by taking money for it and giving it to your brother for a good cause. I don't like that. I'm sorry. That part of the episode I did not like. I liked the episode, but that was hard for me. That whole trek with Althea is hard for me. I don't like that. So I'm really hoping this is a temporary thing, because that really, I'm gonna be real, it irritated the hell out of me. And speaking of irritations, will somebody please show Evan his lane? I mean, show Evan his effing lane. This girl don't go with you. Like, you have a whole girlfriend that you keep ignoring because you keep trying to ask Nikki, what are you up to? What are you doing? Talk to me. Let me know what you're doing here. Why are you here? None of your business. Like, that's the explanation that Nikki should have given Evan. What I do in my personal life has nothing to do with you. I appreciate you helping me, but I'm not your girlfriend. Your girlfriend's at that table over there with the dress that's open with no bra. You go over there and deal with that. Why are you in this? I'm like, had Evan not literally interfered so much, they would have gotten the dagger sooner, and they may not even have run into Lady Zia and her goons. They would have already had it and probably been out. But Evan, and that he has a girlfriend that is just a saint. Because I'm gonna tell you, I would smack the hell out of Evan. I'm like, your ex-girlfriend is always here. She's in your office with the door closed. You're supposed to be here at the party with me. You're literally cock blocking me to go talk to her every 5 minutes. I mean, this girlfriend needs to let him go, because he is not over her, and it is obvious he's not over Nikki, and he's jealous of Henry. And that is the whole problem that Evan is having. Evan doesn't care what they're doing. He's caring that he's not doing it with them, because he wants to be the one. As he said, I used to be the one that would do these shenanigans with you. So it's a mess, guys. It is a mess. It is a mess. Oh, Evan. Why? So yeah, that's a problem. So yeah, this was a very eye-opening episode. So we literally were left with so many questions, like, did Paylin kill the father and steal the sword? And that's why Lady Z is crazy and is doing all this. But then why is she more power hungry for all the other weapons? What don't we know? When she saw Nikki's hand, what did she see? Why did she hesitate and then not kill her? Because she was going to kill her. And then she said, basically, let it go. You know, this, stay in your lane, basically. And then she let her live again. She let her live again. Why? Also, this whole thing with the parents, I need to know what is happening with the parents, because one minute they seem like they're lovey-dovey. The next, it seems like they're having marital issues. I need them to pick a side, pick one lane and stay in it so we can deal with our issues. Everything about this Althea plot in this episode is wrong. Wrong. I don't need to think about it. It's just wrong. I don't know how Ryan's going to help save the clinic. I mean, his best shot was at the museum. So, I mean, if he accepts that money, or he won't even know. If Ryan knew, if he found out how they got that money from Althea, it would devastate him. He would be sick. And it's because Althea will not open her mouth and say anything. And I am disappointed that Nikki hasn't gone and find this guy and beat his ass. Because you have so much rage over your Sifu being killed by her sister, but yet this man raped your sister and you haven't gone and done anything about that. So, I mean, I don't understand that at all. So just putting that out there. The whole sexual tension around the whole Henry / Nikki, will they not kind of thing is cute. Because, I mean, it is a love triangle. Again, at the end of the day, it is Henry, Nikki, and Evan in this triangle. But I will say she got kind of bitchy with him when he was like, I don't want to rob the museum. I don't think this is a good idea. She's like, well, fine, I'll go do it myself. And I'm like, this man told you in a previous episode that he had a record, that he was a juvenile delinquent for stealing. And you want to put him in the situation where if he does it again, he's going to jail forever. What is wrong with you, girl? Like, think. She's not thinking. That's the problem. Nikki is so in her mission of rage, she is not thinking, and is going to end up getting her or somebody around her hurt or killed. Sounds like another character, Barry Allen. So, yeah. Yeah, but that's pretty much my review on that episode in a nutshell. So let's see what some of the comments are, because again, I did like this episode, but I have to call out stuff because some things I just don't understand. And if I can get rid of anything in that episode, you already know it's going to be that whole NDA crap with Althea is just BS, and taking money is just BS. I haven't watched this episode yet, but I'm pretty much behind on all my TV shows this week due to work. Oh, I feel like I spoil everything for you, you know. I've accepted it. I'm sorry. But I'll stick around nonetheless. I'm not worried about spoilers. I definitely spoiled it. I'm really sorry. All right, I'm coming in clear. Good. I was worried about that because this is a new camera and I haven't tweaked all the settings and it just takes a long time. So as long as you guys can see me, I know it's not crystal clear, but again, I'm still working on it. I've only had it this is my second time using this camera, so I haven't had it long. So I will fix it eventually. I just didn't want my Canon 80D to die because I love my SLR and it costs a lot of money. So I need it for other videos. It's a common occurrence in martial arts stories that masters have dark and troubling backgrounds. This is true. This is really true. It's just interesting because your mentor, it makes you feel like, was Palin, like, did she change when she went to the monastery? Did she change at all? Or is Lady Z lying? There's two sides to every story. I think that there are elements of truth in both of the sister stories. So this could be the ultimate sibling rivalry that caused all of this. That is really messed up. Hey, did you change your screen name? I feel like you had a different name. Yeah, it should be David. Yes, I was David. Sorry, I didn't read the next message. Okay. If somebody really wanted to break away from life of villainy, it's easy to see why monastic life. Yeah, I agree with this. It would be appealing. It's a socially revered position and people won't ask about your past. Yeah, and you're pretty much in isolation. I think the monastery was outside of this, whatever the small town they were in China. So it was pretty hard or remote to get to. So that you could hide. I think a lot of people join the monastery to get away from people. I'm a big fan of Muay Thai. A lot of prominent figures in the sports come from a monastic background. Their experience sets them straight. Makes sense. Arjun Gate comes to mind. Well, as a bit of a trope, it does happen quite often in the context of martial arts. People find their peace in its practice. Huh. Yeah, there's so many different forms. I even like Tai Chi. I like watching people do Tai Chi, especially older generation people. I like watching old people, like senior citizens, do Tai Chi. I think it's very cool. It's very calming. It's a very common rite of passage for Thai men to spend some time in a monastery. That makes sense. I mean, if you're going to do your craft, you might as well. I think the best place to learn to meditate would be a monastery. Everyone thinks it's yoga class, and I disagree. When parents do something that puts them in danger unknowingly. Oh, and they were like, oh, yeah, this is my daughter, Nikki. She spent some time in China, too. Oh, yeah, if you want the best food in town, come to Harmony Dumplings. Yeah, you want the address? I'm like, hey, Kevin. Words of Master Owe. One of often meets their fate on the path they take to avoid it. True. And to summarize that, stop being stupid. I'm like, use a critical thinking skills. But Barry Allen doesn't, so why should anybody else? I'm like, okay, it looks shady as F. I agree. Blood money, absolutely. It's possible they are setting up the rapist to be a recurring villain. That's gross. That just seems gross to me. Ugh. Love triangle drama. It would not be a CW show without some sort of love triangle. I bet there will be some truth to what Lady Z is saying. I agree. It's wrong, but is it Ali Wong? Serenity. What is wrong with you? Actually, I really like the design of the sword of Ling Dayu. I like Dayu's sword too. It kind of reminds me of what's her name? Zhao, is it Zhao Kui in Samurai Warriors? It's not Dynasty Warriors, it's Samurai Warriors. It looks similar. The sword looks similar to me. I often wonder if they use a lot of video game designs or historical Chinese weapons, because I think they did that for the actual Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors. But it's been a minute. I haven't played that game in so long. It's a fat white blade instead of the thin Jun swords we see in the typical Kung Fu flicks. Yeah, I love the fact that they're not holding any expenses of making the light shine green in After Effects. on these swords because it's like that's I know exactly like one of the filters they're using is alpha channels they're using in After Effects. I think it's funny. Nikki is obsessed. Yes, she effing is. What's gonna happen when she completes her mission? Is she just gonna leave and like San Francisco's not my home anymore? I don't know. Nikki is one track. She gets it from her mama. They are more like alike than they think. Oh yeah, they had that little moment at the beginning too when they were talking. So I'm like, it's cute to see that they're talking again. The mother's like opening up after what happened in the last episode with the protests and stuff. Also, no visual hiccups either. Yay! I like no visual hiccups. I still need to be more focused because right now it's focusing on everything. And you can definitely tell with my DSLR, I can do my depth of field better with this one. I just have to play with the settings on this one. I just didn't have time today. But as long as I'm not blurry, I'm cool. Oh, sorry. I like Evan. I am Team Evan. He was robbed due to her mom's traditions, but you can see they had something. See, this isn't even about that. I have no problem with him feeling, justified in being angry or upset or hurt at what Nikki did. We're on board with that. My problem is you have a girlfriend and you are throwing yourself at the girl who dumped you through a text message. That is my problem with Evan. Be a man, have some self-respect. And if you don't want to be with this woman that you are dating, then break up with her. Don't have her sitting there looking at you, basically pining after another girl. That is a problem. That is a problem. I think your camera was the issue. Yeah, so when it froze, like the jumping, that actually was StreamYard. They were able to fix that. But when it completely froze and the audio froze and it cut out, that was my camera because my the sensor in a DSLR is not supposed to continuously shoot. And see, I have mine it's forcing itself to be a webcam by having an AC adapter and running it through my Elgato card. It works. I have like unlimited, time to record, but when it's constantly doing it, and I have 2-hour streams, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week, it's killing the sensor of this camera. So I'm only using my SLR now for just making videos. I'm not going to use it for live streaming. So this is going to be my live stream camera since it's a webcam and it's made for that. And then my really expensive SLR will just be for my channel videos, or should I say multiple channels videos. So yeah. I'm with you. I haven't watched it yet. Usually watch it the next day, but I just got home from much needed grocery or clothing shopping. I'm glad you're out there doing your thing, Serenity. I'm going to do a pickup order at a store I hate so much. And I have no choice because it's the only one I have near me. I want a Kung Fu and Cobra Kai crossover. That would be an interesting. I wonder what would be the stakes, though. I'm really fond of redemption stories. I'm hoping Pei Ling actually did kill him. Yeah, that would be cool. I think making her have a dark side will teach Nikki a lesson, because right now she has her Shifu on a pedestal and she shouldn't. And that's really messed up. I am Team Henry, even though it not seem like a good boyfriend. If he knows he cannot commit to his new girlfriend, he should just break up with her instead of ignoring her. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand. I mean, it was obvious that he was jealous. And then when Nikki was in the office and, the girlfriend came in with the museum tickets, Evan tried to play it off. Oh, she was just dropping off spicy fried pickles or whatever. And I'm like, or spicy pickles. And I'm just like, she was actually having a full-on conversation about a case, which you could have said, oh, we're just talking about something that she needed help with case-wise, but he couldn't tell his girlfriend that because he knew he'd get in trouble. Why are you helping her when there's all these other lawyers here? It's going to come to a head. The girlfriend is not stupid. She's not stupid. Tai Chi is gorgeous. Yes, it is. It's like water, like watching water flow. And my favorite element is water. It is what it is. It may be useful, but good Lord, you look cool doing it. I love Tai Chi. I love it. Let's see. Trying to make sure I didn't skip something because it jumped down. Here we go. She left Evan without notice. That was wrong. He has feelings for her. They didn't break up. They just disappeared. If he had a choice, it's obvious who it would be. Well, technically, she did break up with him. In the pilot, it said he got one text message saying that she couldn't do it anymore, and then she was gone for 3 years. That's a breakup. She didn't just leave him hanging. She broke up with him. She's like, she pulled a Maggie from Charmed. I gotta find myself. These are the 3 years of me. That's basically what she did. Let's see. Yeah, I get that the way they broke up was not the best, but that does not excuse his actions to his now present girlfriend. Yep. Accountability. You can't be a dick to other people because someone was a dick to you. That's not how that works. I personally can do without Nikki's ex in the show. Yeah, if they're gonna have something for him to do, they need to do it. Because right now, yes, what I fear is gonna happen is she's gonna get him. He's going to lose his job and lose everything and not even have her because she's going to be with Henry. That's what I think is going to happen. There's a new Samurai Warriors game coming out, by the way, since you mentioned it. I need to get back. I used to love playing those games. Me and my daughter would play together as the Cow Sisters. I love Dynasty Warriors, love Samurai Warriors. Love it, love it. And they're beautiful games too. They both need time to figure it out since it ended abruptly. They need to communicate and get closer, but it's not the best situation for his now girlfriend who is a rebound. Yeah, it sucks. He literally, to me, he's doing something worse to her by stringing this girl along. Now that to me is intentionally messed up. I'm not cutting Nikki any, slack whatsoever, but at least she dropped him and he had 3 years to get on with his life. What he's doing, what Evan's doing to this woman is messed up. Absolutely messed up. I get his role of assistant director tournament. I could just do without the love triangle. I agree. Yeah, I'm so behind on all my shows. A rebound who was dated for 2 years by the point she's not a rebound, and if he can't give her love in time, then he needs to break it off. No arguments here. A store you hate. Is it in the W? Yes, it starts with a W. And I think most minorities should hate that store. I hate it, but literally, like I have to drive a distance to get pickup stuff. And it is literally the closest. It is 38 minutes away. And to get to like a Target or to get to another store, it would take me about almost an hour. So yeah. Unfortunately, I'm trapped and I hate it. I'm gonna start growing my food on the balcony. So Evan to Nikki as Logan is to Jean. I always found Logan to be extra creepy with Jean. Yeah, man, let's just be real. Logan's extra creepy with everybody. I'm like, I love Wolverine in fight mode, but not in relationship mode. He creeps me out. The creepiest thing I saw him do, I know he's done worse, is he was making out with Aurora, and I'm like, you can't kiss Storm like that. That's just gross. I can't handle this emotionally either. I can't handle it. Was it Astonishing X-Men where he married her and they had a kid? Because I know if it is Astonishing, I have to go back. I might have my titles mixed up. If it's Astonishing, the one where basically so Magneto was actually a hero technically, and he was married to Rogue, and they had a child, and she was cheating on him with Gambit and the Resistance. And in that same universe, they had Wolverine married to. They were either married or they were together with Storm. Or just no. I feel like it's cool they're being free and stuff. But Jean is like so different from X-Men Red and Krakoa right now. Yeah, a lot of people are different than they are in Krakoa right now. The one thing though, I haven't been keeping up with New Mutants. So have they made Danny and so Wolfsbane and Mirage a couple in Krakoa now on the same team? Because I know ever since New Mutants came out, sometimes they try and imitate what they do in the movies, but technically it's not MCU. So I guess, I don't know. I'm just wondering. I just got from Wally World and they rearranged the whole store. So I was so lost. I rarely buy anything but food. So this is a 3 to 4 time a year trip for me. This trip is one. I'm telling you, I hate everything about them. I hate what they stand for. I hate that there's Confederate flags hanging around every aisle in the store. But it's literally, I don't go into it. I order online and I have them just put it in the car. because I can't go in Walmart. I can't do it. I said the word. I'm not a Wally lover. I'm sorry. I just can't handle it emotionally. All right. Overall, this episode was good. I just really feel like Nikki, I get. Nikki has to go through things. She's the main character. She's got to do stupid things before she gets better and learns a lesson. Hopefully she will learn a lesson and she won't be like certain other characters in other CW shows, especially Arrowverse shows that do the same repetitive bullshit over and over again because they literally are the definition of insanity. They keep doing the same thing, thinking there's going to be a different outcome, even though they're all dumb. So yeah, there's that. But I also, the whole thing with Althea I feel like the CW tries to deal with things in a sensitive way, but there are some things they need to be very careful with. And this subject matter, like don't play with mental health, don't play with rape, don't play with any of that stuff. That stuff is I mean, there are people that are probably watching that show right now. They're like, what the hell? That probably haven't even told anybody what happened and are seeing that and are like, well, I guess we can just see if we can get money for it. That's just, I don't agree with that. I don't like that. I think they're more like sisters at the point. Danny and Wolfsbane, I didn't see any romance in the way they were at. They could change though. Okay. Nikki and Henry will make a cool battle couple. They are a good fighting team. They really are. I could see them as that. If this is Ruby, they'd be like the Yang and Blake of their team. So I'm cool with how they fight. I just don't like the fact that Henry seems to have better fight moves than she does. Like he even had the last hit. He hit the last guy on the ground. Like she was around the corner and she flips and she tripped a guy and then she back kicked or did a side kick to one guy. But he took out like the other guy and the other one in front and he knocked him out. And I'm like, Henry was doing better at fighting than she is. And I don't know if it's intentional because she's so raged that she's not practicing as much as he is. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird that he seems to be, whenever they are fighting, he seems to do a lot better than her. And it's bad because it's her show. I don't know. It's weird. I'm actually really excited with the revelation concerning Lady Z. I am too. I want to see what they're going to do with that. Like I said, there's always a second side to every story. And not every villain is a sociopath. Some villains are just crazy because of trauma or driven nuts because of trauma. But I just feel like their whole family is probably dysfunctional. And this is the ultimate sibling rivalry. And unfortunately, Lady Z won because she killed her sister. I mean, she just didn't expect one of the people that, her sister was a Sifu to come after her. So that's new for her more than likely. Now she knows she's out there. Now she knows what to look for and she knows who to look for. And that is where Nikki is not smart. If Paling is not a saint, then I think it'd make her a much more interesting character. I agree with that. Yeah, stories revolving those darker themes can be triggering. Yep. I feel like they're just failing. Charm sucks at dealing with mental health. This show apparently is not good at dealing with rape. I mean, it's like, I don't get it. I did like that Henry is comfortable and thinks it's cool that Nikki can beat him. Yeah. I mean, he's secure in his manhood. It would be cool if Henry was trained in another major kung fu school like Wu-Tang as an example. He did say he did study in Beijing. So he probably has learned a different style. I mean, we don't know everything about Henry. We only know what he told us and what Evan dug up on him. Because again, that's also messed up. Talk about toxic families. I know. I'm just like, we don't know we don't even know what Daddy could have been batshit crazy. We have no idea. People see people a certain way and gaslight for them. And then later on, when they're older, they're like, wait a minute, that was, abusive as hell, or that was really messed up. And I'm like, why did I think that was okay? That could be the situation with Lady Z. Their father could have been a tyrant. He could have been somebody who wanted the power for himself. And Paling took the sword and went to the monastery to keep it from their dad. And maybe he tried to catch her and maybe she accidentally killed the father. And all Lady Z saw was her sister killing their daddy. I could see that being a thing. LCW, you need better writers to deal with heavy topics. They do. Or they just need to leave said heavy topics outside of the like if it had been sexual harassment, which still is not good, then I would have been like, all right, I can see her morally struggling with this. This guy, he grabbed my butt. I'm going to get $500,000 out of it. I still would have reported his ass because I think morally you have a moral obligation to keep him from doing that to somebody else. It is, and I know it sucks and I know it's a lot to ask of somebody, but I mean, the next person that comes after you, you possibly could have prevented it from happening. And that's what you have to think of. It's like paying it forward to keep somebody else safe, even though you couldn't do it for yourself. That is what you're supposed to do. I understand that life gets in the way, you know, life is not fair. There's a lot of gray area, but we're talking a man who has sexually assaulted multiple women. That the lawyer did not say you and this other woman. He said the others, plural. So he has done this to a lot of women. So if you are a serial rapist, what makes you think that he's going to stop because he gave you, $500,000? No, he's covered his butt right now. He's not going to stop. He can't stop. There's something wrong with him. So that whole thing is just stupid to me. It is stupid how they're handling this. And like I said, I'm hoping that this is a momentary thing. It's a pause in Althea's judgment. I'm hoping that she cannot go through with it because of her conscience, her trauma, whatever. And she really starts to think about the fact that the lawyer said, in quotation marks, others, plural. So that, yeah, she just needs to, this is how I look at life. Like me and my spouse are very transparent because we feel like if you don't want to be with me, then peace out. Love my spouse loves me, but we don't play that game. So I could tell my spouse anything. And Althea's in this mode of, I don't feel good enough for my spouse and his family because they have a shit ton of money and my parents are struggling to get by. And right now, Althea is technically not even employed. And the reason that I'm saying that is because, did you hear what she said about the apartment? What if all of this went away? Your apartment, my apartment, the cars, the clothes. Her fiance is funding her. He's paying her rent. She doesn't have a job. She hasn't even gotten her startup, off the ground because she said in the pilot episode, they were waiting for her to get, for them to get married first. And then she was going to do it. And that's actually kind of messed up if you really think about it, that they won't, the parents don't want to invest in her until they're married. So I'm just putting that out there. I mean, you should be wanting to invest in the idea, not because this person's marrying your son, but whatever. But yeah, so he's funding everything. So Althea is very on her fiance right now and that lifestyle. And also an image, like she doesn't want to be seen as a victim by her fiance and her in-laws and even her family. So yeah, I get it. I get how hard it is, but at the same time, this man is going to do this again to somebody else. And you knew that he did it and that he was capable of doing it and has done it to others. And you did nothing to say, and you said nothing to stop it. That is a problem. That is a problem. And I think the solution would be if she signs that NDA, she technically did not tell her sister before she signed the NDA. So if her sister does something, her sister's the one that went after him, not her. And so that's a whole different thing. So if Nikki's the one that goes after this guy, then technically I don't know how that would stand up in court because again, she could have told her sister at any point in time. They have no idea because it was in that whole 3 years that Nikki was had been gone. And within the few months that she's been back. So they have no idea at what point she even told her sister. But an NDA I don't think would fly, as a violation if her sister did something. So, I mean, I think there's a loophole around it. I hope they don't use Nikki as a loophole because again, she is the only one that knows before she signs the NDA. But if Ryan ever found out how they got that money, like I said, that's a whole, Althea is not thinking right. And it's obvious. And again, I get it. She's traumatized. You can see it. But I just don't like how they're doing this. I do not like how they're doing it. I do not. But whew. So yeah, guys, 44, we're almost at 45 minutes. And we've gone through this episode. We are having our charm stream. Now, question about this, guys. I always do my charm stream like after it airs because it's pretty early on Friday since it comes on. I believe it comes on at 7 now. So I think we did ours about 8-ish or 8:30. I usually do that because Saturdays are big video making days for me. And so trying to pop a stream in, especially if they keep to this Friday schedule and they start bringing some of the anime and Ruby and all this other stuff back when it gets released, will be very hard to do all of that on a Saturday. Saturday would be way too many videos coming out on this channel. So I am doing the Friday nights because I understand that some people haven't watched the episode, but I do think that others will come back and watch the review if they don't watch it when it's live streamed. So are you guys okay with that? Because what I was doing was just making a video. I mean, do you like talking about Charmed on a live stream? Do you want me to go back to make it as a video and then people just watch it when they're done? Like, what do you think? I just want to know your opinion on that, because for me, it's just easier to do it because it just aired. So it's fresh in my head, and then we can just talk about it, and then everyone else can comment it throughout the week, like what's been happening. But if it's too soon and I put the video out, then generally it's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. The video will still be posted at some point on Friday or early, like 9 or 10 Saturday morning. But I don't know. That is something. So Alpha, you like the live stream? Okay. And if I miss Sister Mal, always drop by. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I know a lot of people don't watch it exactly when Charm ends. Like I even DVR it. I start it like 30 minutes in so I can just skip through commercials because I don't like commercials. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep it because I want to make sure that I get Charmed out before. And when Motherland Fort Salem comes out, it's also going to be a pain. So I got to make sure I get all the schedule stuff like in order. And then another thing that's helping me right now about doing live streams, I'm not going to stop doing videos. I know I'm a little slow right now. I'm battling my anemia. So I think I talked about this before. I have severe iron deficiency anemia, so it's pretty bad. So I am trying to get my levels up, but it makes me extremely exhausted. And then I have another job. So it's like trying to get all these videos out and then doing the live streams and then doing my other job. And plus I do voiceovers, and I'm also a wife and a mother. So like I have so many things going on that I don't want to make excuses, but the anemia is making it so hard to stay awake. And like, that's literally how it's affecting me. I am so tired all of the time, like 24/7. It feels like I've never slept a day in my life. I am exhausted all of the time. And so I am on some heavy iron pills. And if you guys have never had anemia, guys, those iron pills are no joke. They are no joke. It's so bad. I have to take them when I go to bed because they make me sick all day. So yes, live streams are helping me right now. Doesn't mean it's a full-time thing. If at any point you guys think the video format is better and a lot more people think that, then I probably would switch to that. But for now, I'm only doing it because I don't have to worry about assets. I don't have to worry about finding pictures. I don't have to worry about editing. It's live. So I can say what I want to say and then be done. So just throwing it out there. That's why I've been doing the shows that I really like. I do live streams on. The ones that I like but aren't as obsessed with, then I will just do, a regular video. Jupiter's Legacy, I'm trying to do with Eloy, and we're trying to work our schedules out so we can do a collab on that. So yeah, I think that's going to be fun. But yeah. So it looks like a lot of you are saying that you like the live streams, and you say you love the live streams. Was just a funky day for me. I get it. And like I said, I don't want anyone to feel pressured that they have to immediately go watch this show and jump in my live stream. You don't ever have to do that. That is not a requirement. If you go back and you're able to watch it, I appreciate it. Because what I might start doing is, somebody had said, can you put a time code on some of your live streams, which I need to do. So I can say, okay, we talked about this from this time to this time, and the rest of us, this is just us talking and Q&A. And so if you don't want to listen to it all or watch it all, then you can just tune out. That might be very beneficial with Arrowverse Tuesday. And that might have to be a Wednesday morning, though, because when we're done with that stream, I go to bed. So I'll have to come up and do it in the morning. But I might start time coding for you guys. That way, you know where I stop talking about certain things, and then we just kind of talk and then BS. So yeah, that might be very helpful. Yeah. Let's see. I like your live streams better. Okay. I'm trying. I am trying. Guys, I'm trying. I am trying. I live at the doctor's office, but I'm trying. 2020 was a bad year for health problems. Your viewers also come up with new talking points that are interesting. True. And then plus, I love that we can interact and have feedback instantly. And then it helps with planning for the next episode. I've gotten some really cool ideas from you guys on videos I want to do. I just have to be awake to do them. That is my main problem. It's like, I'm so tired all the time. It's horrible. Off topic. Are you watching Zenkaiser? So I watched the first episode. I have seen pictures. Apparently there's a new female and new male Zenkaiser Ranger look human. I didn't get into it because there were Megazords that were on the team. It just looked like mini versions of different series Megazords or their robots. But I might give it another shot. I don't know, Kevin. You have to tell me what you think about Zenkaiser. I am all in with Kamen Rider Saber. I have seen every episode to date. I think we just released episode 34. So I've watched all of Saber. But Zenkaiser is this is the first Sentai I've had this much problems watching. I've never had trouble watching a Sentai before, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not into it. It's weird. I don't know. I'll have to give it a chance. Maybe I'll wait some more of the episodes, pass, and then maybe I'll just do a whole series overview of it. Oh my God. But yeah, I guess the actual answer that you're looking for, Kevin, is yes, I quit after episode 1. And I normally don't even do that. I normally give it 3 episodes. And I was so bored with the first one that I was like, nah, not for me. But it'd be like that. I need to give it at least 2 more episodes to see where it's going. Out of curiosity, based on what you've seen from the actors this season, do you think any of them can take up roles in MCU? Oh, wow. I will tell you this. Not MCU, but the actress, even though she'd actually be a better orphan, technically, because she's half white. But if she was fully Japanese, the girl that plays Raiko in Jupiter Legacy is my version of Lady Shiva, a younger version, but that's my baby, Lady Shiva. Sorry, Ray. I know you just had to drink alcohol. I apologize. But yeah, there's a lot of characters. If we did another Ryan Chow in the DCEU, I could see Ryan playing it from Kung Fu, playing his character. I know they already have a character in Zack Snyder cut, but I doubt he's going to be, the new. I mean, did they cast new? I don't know what they're doing with this new. I don't know what DCEU is doing, but they did do something. They could have him play that character. Possible Kwannon casting from Kung Fu. None of them could be in Kung Fu unless they were Japanese. Because I am actually a person that supports, I support actors being cast as their own ethnic self, because there are a lot of times where it seems like it's a stereotype that all Asians look alike. So of course they can play anything across the spectrum. That's not always true. So casting like Nikki's actress as Silk would be very insulting to a lot of Korean American actors and Korean actors as a whole, because you could get a Korean actress, but you got a Chinese actress. And they do this all the time. Even with our own Master Wu, they do this in the MCU. He is not Chinese. He is Korean. So nobody could play if they are not of Korean descent, none of them can. Now, Mary's actress in Batwoman is Korean. I wouldn't cast her as Silk, but whatever. Anna Akana plays Raiko. I like her. I love her in that role. And then even when I was watching her in that scene, I don't want to spoil anything, but I watched her in this certain scene in the show, and I was like, Lady Shiva, Lady Shiva. So yeah, though I will say I'm upset what they did, and I'm not going to spoil that. But if they were going to have a season 2, and there's technically a season 2 in the comics, what happened did not happen the way it happened in that series. So I'm a little upset about that, but it's all good. I am too. I'm big on Silk needing to be Korean, but I think there's room to explore with Kwannon since she doesn't actually know her heritage aside from one forced on her by the hand. Well, she speaks fluent Japanese, and she does know Japanese culture. We've seen that because we've seen Betsy demonstrate her knowledge of speaking Japanese, reading Japanese, and knowing different honorifics and things like that. So now I really am going to stand by the fact that Kwannon needs to be played by a Japanese woman. She needs to be a Japanese actress. There's no reason that you would ever have to cast a different nationality for Kwannon when you have women in the industry today of Japanese descent that can play that role. So people need to just do that. We just need to do that. I think if everybody's going to be upset about, things being whitewashed, which they are, then you should also have the same opinion about people playing characters that are not within their ethnicity. Like, for instance, if you are a Native American character, but you're played by somebody who's from Mexico, that's not Native American. I mean, yes, you may come down the Asian straight, but you went 2 different directions. You're not an Apache. So I need people to understand that is completely effing different. And Hollywood doesn't care. And if Hollywood continues to do that based on the fact that all Asians look alike to them, disclaimer, to them, then that's going to be a problem that never gets fixed. And then you're just gonna have to accept the fact that somebody is playing your favorite character that, is not even Korean or is not Chinese or, may not even be Asian, like David Carradine, in the original Kung Fu. I mean, it's just what it is. And so, no, I think Kwannon needs to be Japanese. But that is my opinion. I'm not going to tell anybody else what their opinion is, but no, I think Kwannon is supposed to be, the Han is a Japanese organization. She is from Japan. She speaks Japanese. She reads Japanese. She needs to be Japanese. I can't take that from her because, they already took everything else when Betsy took over her body. So I can't take that from her. Kwannon could potentially be Chinese, Korean, or other Asians. She has to be Japanese. My personal hope is that Kwannon is Korean. I know you want that, but you can't have it. Well, okay, to be fair, she could be part Korean, just like a lot of Koreans have Japanese in them, and we all know why. But that wasn't something we need to talk about, and that wasn't something that was really good. But let's just say if she is part Korean in Japan, that's not necessarily a good thing, historically. Nika would be a cool Artemis for Young Justice live action. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Like I said, there are characters that they could play in the MCU. There are a lot of broad characters, in general. There's so many characters. Like if you look at the Arrowverse, there are characters in the Arrowverse or actors in the Arrowverse that aren't main characters that I think would be good. Like, I don't know why, but I kind of felt like, oh, what is her? I hate when I open my mouth because then their names just disappear. There is a Latinx actress who was in the Arrowverse, who I thought would be a really good wind dancer. And now I cannot remember her name or her character's name. So that's going to have to come back. I'm going to have to put that in the comments. But when I looked at her, I was like, I could see her. But it's gone. It's gone. Would you cast Chiaka Koriyama as Kwannon? Hold up. That name sounds familiar. And I probably know exactly who that is. But let me look at a picture because I don't remember. Oh, and while I'm doing that, if you guys want to be excited about a very cool martial arts movie, and I say that it's actually it's a samurai movie. I'm a huge Rurouni Kenshin fan, and I've always thought one of the best live action adaptations of anime ever has been the past Rurouni Kenshin movies, and they're finally doing the Jinchu arc or the revenge arc with Tomoe's brother Anishi, and I saw the trailer. You can look it on YouTube. I'll see if I can put it in the description. It looks badass. I'm sorry. That movie made me cry. Oh my gosh. So if you are a Kenshin fan, you will effing love all the live action movies, but you will definitely love this one. because we see Tomoe, we have the whole backstory, why Kenshin has the scar, all of it from the manga and the anime. So I am extremely excited about it. To me, the live action is better than the anime. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, check. Oh, from Battle Royale and Kill Bill. Okay, that's I had to think about that. I'm like, her name was very familiar to me. Yeah, I could see that. I could see her. Yeah, she was. Oh, she was in Level E too. Okay, yeah, I could see her. Was it Spooner? No, it was not Spooner. Spooner, I thought would have been a really good Jessica Cruz, but you know, that's not happening. I'm looking forward to that Kenshin movie. It looks so good. I think there's, well, I don't want to say, I thought they were splitting it. I think they are splitting it. They're splitting it. If you've read the manga, then you know what happened in the dojo fight. So I think they're going to, where they end it in the dojo fight to like what happens when Kenshin has the sword and is like shut off from the world to when they go to the island. I think that's going to be, I think that's what's going to happen when the whole part of getting Kenshin back in the fight to the island, to the big fight with Anishi is like going to be 2 movies. I'm so excited for Kenshin and I cannot wait till we get to see that movie. So I'm just throwing that out there because I am super effing excited for the Kenshin, and I'm pretty sure the Jinju saga or arc is going to be split into 2 movies. I am so excited. But if you have not, like I said, I'm going to put it in the description of this video when we end the stream, and you guys check it out. But that movie, and if you haven't seen the other live action adaptations of Rurouni Kenshin, you are missing out because they did a effing amazing job on this movie. I mean, amazing. The casting, I really love the cast. I really love the cast. So especially, of course, Kenshin's cast well. I like Kaoru. I really like Sonosuke's actor. So like, if you're a big Kenshin fan, you're definitely going to love those movies. But yeah, I'm excited because I didn't think we were ever going to get the revenge arc, and we are. So I'm excited. Great work with these reviews. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm trying. I am trying. But we are an hour now, guys. So I have to go because I have to go do my pickup order. I don't want to go, but at least I get to just sit in the car, so that's fine. But we will have our Charmed review, our live stream review tomorrow after the show ends, unless we get a storm. So we've been getting turbulent weather. We already had 2 tornadoes that passed through Mississippi when I'm in Tennessee, so I'm next to them in Memphis. So if we get their weather, then everything shuts off. Doesn't mean I've lost power, but we will literally have storm watch on every channel, like for the rest of the night. So then it may not air for me. So that's the only reason that I will do a Saturday review is if our stream is if it doesn't air for us on Friday. So I'm just throwing that out there. So if that happens, and I will put it in the community tab saying, yo, we have inclement weather. I don't think we do this weekend, but I'll have to look. But we are going into storm season. So yeah, but we should have our Charm stream tomorrow. I'm also doing my Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune unboxing video because they're cute. I haven't opened them yet, so I'm going to film it because it's just cute. And then on my other channel, Approach the Yuri, I've already recorded my intro and outro for that video. So I just got to finish editing it and doing the voiceover. So that video should be up by tomorrow too on that channel. So we are getting there, guys. We are getting there. We're getting back in the groove. We're saying F to this, F you to this anemia that keeps me from living my life and doing what I want to do. So more videos coming, I promise. They are coming. And Crisis is going to, with the grace of God, be out this weekend. Okay. Have a great rest of your evening, guys. Make sure to keep commenting below. If you have not liked this video, please like it because we like likes. People should like everybody. And also subscribe if you have not. And yeah, have a very good weekend. And then hopefully I will see most of you for the Friday night stream tomorrow for Charmed. Bye.